So now on to the part of the story most modern fans know. In 2007, Nintendo bought the majority of shares in Monolith Soft from BANDAI NAMCO, making Monolith Soft a second-party developer for Nintendo. While initially starting with some small RPGs on the DS, Monolith Soft began to start work on an ambitious RPG for the Wii, a system that was lacking such games at the time. This new RPG would be called Monado: The Beginning of the World, but would later be changed by a request from Nintendo's president Satoru Iwata to reflect the previous works done by Takahashi and Monolith Soft. And so, in 2010, the now named Xenoblade Chronicles was released on the Nintendo Wii. Xenoblade Chronicles would be a huge departure from the previous games in the series in terms of gameplay, now playing more like an MMORPG, whereabouts your character will periodically attack enemies close by, as well as use arts selected from a tab at the bottom of the screen by the player. Despite playing completely differently to other Xeno games, Xenoblade was very much a Xeno game when it came to its story. The story follows Shulk, a young scientist who goes on a quest for revenge against a bunch of machines known as the Mechon, who destroyed his village. His journey takes him across the two giant dead bodies of Titans which fought to the death a long time ago. He takes with him the mysterious blade, the Monado, which is the game's centerpiece. Using this blade, he can see into the future, which is a key feature of the story and gameplay, allowing Shulk to see upcoming problems and solve them. Xenoblade Chronicles was initially released in Japan and the PAL regions, but not in North America, which if you ask me was about bloody time we got a Xeno game that the Americans didn't, but sadly, Operation Rainfall was a thing, and Xenoblade Chronicles was later localized to the States as well. Unlike Xenogears and Xenosaga, Xenoblade Chronicles was not only properly supported by Nintendo, they also gave Monolith Soft a whole EAD team to help create it. This resulted in Xenoblade Chronicles being the first fully finished Xeno game, and the sales showed for it. Despite not selling more than the first two games in the series, Xenoblade Chronicles was critically praised for being a big game changer to the JRPG genre. Monolith Soft would immediately begin working on a sequel to Xenoblade Chronicles, but in the meantime they found themselves helping other studios within Nintendo to develop their own games, such as The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword and Animal Crossing New Leaf. They also found themselves teaming up with their old publishers at Bandai Namco to deliver a distant sequel to Namco Cross Capcom, now with Sega involved, in the form of Project Cross Zone on the 3DS. But their biggest project would come out in 2015 with the release of Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U. In the lead up to Xenoblade Chronicles X, Monolith Soft re-released Xenoblade Chronicles for the new 3DS to help show the upgraded system's features. The title saw mild success, selling around 0.6 million copies, which when combined with the Wii version pushed Xenoblade Chronicles over the 1 million mark, making it one of, if not the best selling game in the series. With awareness of the series at an all-time high, the series' future looked very promising. Xenoblade Chronicles X was a spiritual sequel to Xenoblade Chronicles, following the story of humanity fleeing the destruction of Earth and starting new life on the mysterious planet Mira. This game would be the first in the series to allow a custom character for the protagonist, as well as being the largest open world in a video game at the time of its release. Gameplay was very similar to Xenoblade Chronicles, with some minor adjustments, such as the addition of a fourth party member, another series first. Despite what I have said personally, Xenoblade Chronicles X was very positively received in the same vein as its predecessor, being a big JRPG on a system lacking such games. However, due to the poor sales of the Wii U, Xenoblade Chronicles sales were limited and only sold around the same number as Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii, putting a few doubts into the possibility of a sequel. Despite the lack of sales, Xenoblade Chronicles X, giant open world, would help pave the way from the much acclaimed Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, in which Monolith Soft would play a large part in helping develop the game. In 2016, Monolith Soft released a sequel to Project X Zone in the form of Project X Zone 2, which now had characters from the Xenoblade Chronicles franchise. But as for the Xeno franchise itself, it seemed with such a colossal game behind them, it would be some time before the next game in the series would be released. However, as Nintendo's brand new hybrid console came out in 2017, Xenoblade fans were given a big surprise. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was announced and released within the launch year of 2017 for the brand new Nintendo Switch, and was heavily marketed by Nintendo themselves, going to show the amount of prestige generated by the series within the video game giant. Despite being advertised as a direct sequel, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 would be set in a brand new universe where people live on the backs of giant titans that wade through a sea of endless clouds. The story follows Rex, a scavenger, as he embarks on a journey with his personified blade Pyra to get to Elysium, the giant tree in the centre of the world. Gameplay has been changed to revolve around these personified blades, where the goal is now to create powerful combos with their elemental differences. And that brings us to the current time. As for the future of the franchise, with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 having good launch sales, we can expect that another game in the Xenoblade franchise is coming. However, if it is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, or Xenoblade Chronicles X2, or perhaps a new spin-off, is anyone's game. Perhaps we will see the return of Xenosaga, with rumours of the trilogy getting a HD remake popping up from time to time. Or perhaps Monolith will put the Xeno franchise on hold to work on other games, like this mysterious fantasy game we have seen hints about. As things are for the Xeno franchise, the future looks bright, and perhaps as new people come into the franchise, they will look back and perhaps, like me, take a chance to look into the games that strive to deliver a JRPG experience like no other.